the wheel.
In the end, the 2025 cycling season delivered a collection of moments we won't be forgetting anytime soon. Throughout the calendar, we witnessed a peloton willing to race harder, attack earlier, and take bigger risks in pursuit of victory. These weren't just random accelerations. They were calculated decisions, perfectly timed tactical strikes, and bold moves that completely shifted the momentum of each race. This year proved that modern cycling is entering a new era. Young talents shook the established hierarchy, while experienced riders answered with grit, intelligence, and incredible physical strength. Every duel in the mountains, every attack on the cobbles, and every surge on the steepest climbs felt like we were watching history being written in real time. Up next, we're taking a look at the most decisive attacks of the 2025 season. Explosive moves that defined stages, stunned rivals, and ignited the passion of fans around the world. So sit back, because we're about to relive the moments that kept the cycling community talking for months. Let's begin. Wout van Aert's 2025 season was marked by ups and downs, and the aftermath of his 2024 injuries, which was reflected in modest results during the Spring Classics, such as his 15th place finish in the E3 Saxo Classic and 4th place in Paris-Roubaix, after a crash that again affected his knee. Even so, he showed flashes of brilliance that proved his class was still intact. His resilience began to shine through in the Tour de France, where he regained confidence and rhythm stage after stage. On the final day, stage 21 ending in Montmartre, rain and cobblestones increased the fatigue of an already exhausted peloton. There, several attacks by Tadej Pogacar disrupted the calm and accelerated the pace, creating an atmosphere of tension and uncertainty. Taking advantage of the chaos, Van Aert launched a decisive attack on the climb to Montmartre, surprising everyone as the sprinters' teams tried to reorganize. His power on the wet cobblestones opened up a gap that could not be closed. He entered the Champs-Élysées alone and raised his arms in front of an ecstatic crowd. This victory did not erase his inconsistent season, but it became a symbol of tenacity and his ability to bounce back when no one expects it. We are now on July 27th with another surprising move made in the same Tour de France. Before stage 16 of the 2025 Tour de France, Jonas Vingegaard faced a deficit of more than 4 minutes behind Tadej Pogacar in the general classification, making the climb up Mont Ventoux a crucial opportunity to catch up. The stage, which culminated at the summit of the iconic Giant of Provence, was prepared with a meticulous team strategy, including the infiltration of key domestiques such as Tige Benoot and Sepp Kuss into the breakaway. On the final climb, with 8 kilometers to go, Vingegaard launched an explosive attack, answered only by Pogacar.
Jonas Vingegaard will not give this up without a fight. Tadej Pogacar immediately responds to the Dane, and the rest are at 6s and 7s with Primož Roglič.
The Dane attacked repeatedly, using his teammates as strategic relays, but Pogacar remained unshakable on his wheel, neutralizing every offensive.
Draws, and just as they come up to a weary time in Arendsville, it is the top 2 on general classification going at it again. Another punch delivered. It's parried without any obvious discomfort.
Despite the massive effort and setting record climb times, Vingegaard was unable to distance his rival, and the stage victory went to Valentin Paré-Pentra, a member of the original breakaway. Vingegaard even lost a couple of additional seconds in the final sprint with Pogacar. Although he failed to make up time and suffered an accidental crash after the finish, his performance was a moral turning point. The battle on Ventoux proved that he was on par with Pogacar in pure climbing and reinforced his determination and that of the team to continue the fight for the yellow jersey in the remaining stages. The 2025 Strade Bianche, held on March 8th on the majestic gravel roads of Tuscany, was one of those days that define the essence of cycling. Starting and finishing in Siena, and covering 213 kilometers, with more than 80 of those on the characteristic white dirt sections, the race brought together the world's best classics riders. Today, Pogacar arrived as the clear favorite, a two-time winner of the race, 2022 and 2024, and determined to equal Fabian Cancellara's record of 3 victories.
Fabian Cancellara, fantastic, number 3.
From the start, UAE Team Emirates set a relentless pace that selected the main group, while the dust kicked up by the wheels enveloped the race in an almost mythical atmosphere. With about 78 kilometers to go, on the demanding sectors of Monte Sante Marie, Pogacar decided to break the calm and launched an attack alongside Thomas Pidcock, leaving most of the favorites behind.
Before then, we've got an issue, and we've got an issue. We have an issue for the world champion.
Tension was at its peak when, on a downhill curve, the world champion lost control and fell violently onto the gravel. Silence fell over the race. For a moment, all seemed lost. His uniform covered in dust, his bike broken, his body scraped. But Pogacar got up with the coolness of a warrior, changed bikes, and embarked on an epic chase, devouring kilometers with contained fury until he reconnected with the leading group. His resilience became the very soul of the day. With 18 kilometers to go on the legendary Col Pinzuto climb, the Slovenian launched his final attack. It was a sharp, devastating move, as if all the pain of the crash had been transformed into pure power. Pidcock tried to follow him, but soon gave up in the face of the Slovenian superiority. From there, Pogacar rode alone, traversing the final sectors with a majestic, focused, relentless style. Every curve, every hill, and every shadow seemed to surrender to him. Reaching the steep Via Santa Caterina, with the crowd packed into the streets of Siena, Pogacar climbed with his face covered in dust and his heart burning. He crossed the finish line in Piazza del Campo more than a minute ahead of Pidcock, securing his 3rd victory in the Strade Bianche. That triumph was not only a display of physical power, but a lesson in courage and determination. Pogacar proved that great champions are not defined by avoiding crashes, but by getting up from them to conquer glory. On the white soil of Italy, the Slovenian once again wrote an immortal page in the history of cycling. Stage 17 of the 2025 Giro d'Italia marked a turning point in the battle for the Maglia Rosa, and especially in the sporting history of Isaac del Toro, the young Mexican who arrived at the Italian race as a revelation and ended up showing the mettle worthy of the great champions. The previous day, in stage 16, del Toro had experienced his first moment of weakness. He lost time to his main rivals, especially Richard Carapaz, which raised doubts about his ability to withstand the onslaught of the veterans. The Italian media began to talk about a possible change in leadership. The route of stage 17 offered no respite. It was 155 kilometers through the mountains, with the Passo del Tonale as the first obstacle, and the legendary Passo del Mortirolo as the final judge, a climb that has forged legends and destroyed dreams. From the start, the rival teams made the race tough. Carapaz's Ineos Grenadiers and EF Education Easy Post set a brutal pace that left del Toro without teammates. At the base of the Mortirolo, the leader found himself practically alone, while Carapaz launched his expected attack, breaking up the group of favorites. At that moment, many thought that the Mexican would give in again, but he remained calm. Without panicking, he regulated his effort, kept his pace, and with admirable coolness, limited his losses while the others wore themselves out. On the technical and dangerous descent, Del Toro showed exceptional control. He took advantage of his ability to take corners with pinpoint accuracy and his courage to take risks when he needed to most. In a matter of minutes, he neutralized the gap and reconnected with Carapaz's group. From there, the young leader stopped defending and started attacking. In the final kilometers, when the road began to slope again and his legs were burning, Del Toro changed the course of history.
On the coattails here of Del Toro, sails around Rubio, and this is the flair that we've been looking for Del Toro. He was ground down a little bit, trying to put the fire out. He's got Simon Yates on his wheel, as you can see, but Del Toro going into sprint mode up the toughest part of this climb and wants a piece of it. He's not looking for Mandy's points, he's looking for space, quite frankly, and he may well just get it. He's got Carapaz with him, however, who could be moving up brilliantly within the general classification, and there's no response back here, not yet anyway. They might regather themselves. There's still 8.8
3 kilometers to go. He stood up on his pedals and launched an explosive attack that left his pursuers in the dust. No one could keep up with him. Isaac Del Toro crossed the finish line alone, his face covered in sweat, his fist clenched, and the determined look of someone who has overcome his own doubts. That victory was not the result of physical power, but of mental strength. He had withstood the attack of the veterans, responded to the pressure, and regained everyone's respect. In a Giro that tested him day after day, the young Mexican proved that the Maglia Rosa is not inherited or defended. It is conquered with courage. Stage 20 of the 2025 Giro d'Italia was a real battle for glory. The young Mexican, Isaac Del Toro, defended the Maglia Rosa with a narrow lead over Richard Carapaz, while Simon Yates, third in the overall standings, waited for his chance on a 184-kilometer route ending at the legendary Colle delle Finestre, the same mountain pass where he had lost the Giro in 2018. From the start, the tension was palpable. Each team played its cards cautiously, knowing that any mistake could decide the race. A large breakaway formed early on, including Poel and Van Aert, Yates' teammate at Visma Lease Bike, which would later prove crucial. As the stage progressed, Del Toro's UAE team maintained control of the peloton, but the pressure was enormous. At the start of the Finestre, Carapaz launched an aggressive attack, trying to isolate the leader and put him on the ropes.
And he's going to try and bridge over here. Carapaz, has he got what it takes to maintain this distance? He's gone very, very early, shredded his own teammates. Clever use of them as well, just to back in, almost brake check those behind us.
Toro responded calmly, without despair, maintaining his pace and trusting in his endurance. However, the duel between the two wore them down, opening up an opportunity that Yates would not let slip. With 13 kilometers to go to the summit, while Del Toro and Carapaz watched each other without collaborating, Simon Yates attacked decisively. His acceleration was clean and controlled, and in a matter of minutes, he opened up a significant gap. Carapaz tried to react, but without support, the effort was futile. Del Toro, true to his cautious style, preferred to maintain his pace and not risk an explosion on the climb. In a few kilometers, Yates had turned a tactical move into a real threat to the overall classification. At the top of the pass, Van Aert, who had come from the breakaway, waited for him on the descent to help him extend his lead. Together, they flew around the curves of the Finestre, while behind them, the chase fell apart due to a lack of understanding between Del Toro and Carapaz. The coordination of Visma-Lease bike was perfect, the execution flawless, and the timing exact. On that dusty and legendary descent, Yates was not only looking for time, he was looking for redemption. The same mountain pass that once robbed him of a Giro now saw him launch himself into history with the serenity and strength of someone who had learned to overcome his own past. The 2025 season gave us moments that will go down in history. Impossible attacks, epic comebacks, and victories that ignited a passion for cycling. Pogacar once again showed why he is the benchmark for his generation. Van Aert fought every kilometer with courage, and Isaac Del Toro conquered the world with his talent and maturity. It was an unforgettable year, a season where every stage told a story, and every cyclist left their mark. But 2026 promises even more. A new generation is preparing to challenge Pogacar's dominance and write the next chapter in world cycling. Click on the following video to discover the stories and science behind each cyclist. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any future videos. And check out the description, because there you'll find extra content and links that are sure to interest you.